I wired $50,000 into my parents' account, thinking I was saving them from disaster. But within weeks, instead of gratitude, I was branded as selfish, toxic, and the very problem in the family. The people I trusted most didn't just betray me. They twisted the knife and made me out to be the villain. If you want to hear how this unbelievable story unfolds, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more shocking family drama stories. It started with a phone call one late evening. My mom's voice cracked through the receiver like she'd been crying for hours. "We're going to lose the house," she whispered. "The bank is threatening foreclosure. Your father. He's been hiding how bad the bills really are. If you don't help us, we'll be on the street." My stomach twisted. I had worked so hard for the last 5 years, grinding through late nights, picking up freelance jobs, eating ramen instead of going out, just to build a safety net for myself. $50,000. That was my entire cushion. The money I had saved for a down payment on my own future. But hearing my mother sob, picturing my father with his head in his hands, I caved. I told myself, it's just money. I can earn it back. They're my parents. If I don't help them, who will? So the next morning, I transferred the $50,000. I even sent a message saying, "This isn't a gift, it's a loan. Once things stabilize, I'll need it back." My father replied with a simple thumbs-up emoji. Not even words, just a little yellow hand. Still, I brushed it off. They were probably too stressed to say more. For a while, things seemed calm. They paid the mortgage, and the panic calls stopped. When I visited them 2 weeks later, I expected hugs, maybe even tears of relief. But instead, I walked into a house full of laughter, music playing, and my mom telling me about how they just booked a family vacation to Cancun. "Wait," I said, blinking in confusion. "A vacation? With what money?" "Oh, honey," she laughed, waving me off. "Don't be so dramatic. We've been under so much stress. We deserve this. Besides, you've always been the successful one. You'll understand one day when you have kids of your own." My jaw clenched so hard I thought my teeth might crack. I wanted to scream. That was my future you just spent on a beach getaway. But before I could say anything, my dad cut in sharply. "You're making it sound like you're the victim. Do you think money matters more than your family's peace of mind?" I froze. The victim. I had just given them every penny I had, and now they were treating me like some greedy monster. I tried to swallow the anger boiling in my chest. "Dad, I didn't give you that money to spend on vacations. I gave it to save the house. That was supposed to be temporary." That's when he stood up, his voice rising. "You know what your problem is? You think, because you've got a little success, you're above everyone else. You look down on us, always keeping score. Real family doesn't keep receipts." The words cut deeper than I expected, because he wasn't yelling at me like a father. He was accusing me like I was the enemy. That night, I drove home shaking with rage. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. Over and over, I replayed the scene in my head. My mom brushing me off, my dad calling me selfish. How did helping them turn into this? And then things got worse. A few days later, my sister called me out of the blue. She never really called unless she wanted something, and sure enough, her voice was laced with fake sweetness. "So, I heard you gave Mom and Dad 50 grand. Wow, must be nice to have all that lying around." "It wasn't lying around," I snapped. "It was my savings, and it was a loan." She chuckled darkly. "Loan? You really think they're giving that back? You've always been so naive. They already told everyone at the last family dinner that you insisted on helping them. That it was your idea." My heart dropped. "What?" "Yeah," she continued casually. "Actually, they've been telling people you're making things difficult now, acting entitled. Honestly, you're kind of embarrassing them. They said you've been causing tension in the family ever since you gave them the money. I felt the blood rush to my ears. Not only had my parents spent the money recklessly, but now they were poisoning the rest of the family against me, painting me as the ungrateful, difficult child. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, tears stinging my eyes. I had sacrificed everything for them, and now they were rewriting the story, turning me into the villain. But deep down, I felt something shift inside me. A line had been crossed, and I was no longer going to stay silent. The next weekend, I went to a family barbecue. Normally, I loved these gatherings, but as soon as I stepped into the yard, the air changed. Conversations dropped. Eyes locked on me. My aunt forced a smile and said, "Oh, look, the banker is here." Laughter followed, sharp and mocking. My uncle slapped my shoulder, muttering, "Don't charge us interest, okay?" My face burned. That's when I realized my parents had poisoned the whole family against me. And then my sister delivered the final blow. She smirked, holding her drink like a trophy, and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Careful. If you spend too long with her, she might send you an invoice." The entire room erupted in laughter. Cruel, biting, humiliating laughter. I held my breath, gripping my phone so tightly it hurt. My cousin tried to calm me outside, whispering, "Don't take it personally. Your parents just want to protect their pride." Protect their pride? They had destroyed mine. The following weeks were worse. Every time I confronted my parents, they twisted the story. "Stop being dramatic," my mom said. "You sound heartless," my dad snapped. "We raised you better than this." They even suggested I stay away for a while, as if I were the toxic one. But the real breaking point came when my sister texted me, "Mom and Dad are redoing their will. They said if you keep being difficult, you're out. They'd rather leave everything to me." I sat frozen, my heart hammering in my chest. My parents hadn't just stolen from me. They were erasing me from the family entirely. Something inside me broke and hardened. If they wanted to treat me like the villain, then it was time to show them what happens when the villain fights back. The opportunity came at my aunt's birthday dinner. I wasn't planning to go. But then I realized this was my chance. When I walked into the dining room, I could feel the whispers start again. My sister smirked. "Here comes the loan shark." But this time, I didn't flinch. I walked straight to the table, pulled out a stack of printed papers and laid them down. "Since everyone's so curious about my finances," I said, my voice steady, "let me clear things up. Here's the bank record showing I wired Mom and Dad $50,000. Here are the texts where I said it was a loan, and here," I tapped the paper, glaring at my parents, "is the proof they've been lying to you." The room fell silent. My dad's face flushed red. My mom's lips trembled. You didn't have to." I cut her off. "I gave you everything I had. You spent it on vacations. And then you smeared my name. You told everyone I was selfish, when the truth is, you're the selfish ones. You made me into the problem. But I'm done protecting your pride." Gasps rippled through the room. My aunt whispered, "Oh my God." My uncle muttered. I knew something was off. For the first time, the spotlight of shame wasn't on me. It was on them. The next week, I had a lawyer draft a repayment agreement. Not because I believed I'd ever see the money again, but because I wanted a record, something official, something they couldn't twist. When they received the letter, they exploded. My mom called me heartless. My dad said I was no longer welcome. And for once, I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I simply said, "You turned me into the villain. Now live with the consequences." It's been over a year since that day. My parents never repaid me. My sister still stirs up drama. But the family no longer laughs at me. They saw the truth with their own eyes. And me? I rebuilt. Slowly. carefully. Without them, I lost $50,000. But I gained something much more valuable: freedom. Because here's the thing. Sometimes the people you thought you owed everything to are the ones who will bleed you dry. And the only way to survive is to cut them off and walk away stronger.